if I have a pet dog, especially when you get to take care of it yourself. Nobody ever told me. All I ever see was those cute little moments that people get, yung Facebook or Instagram worthy moments with an owner and a dog, and a puppy at that, and because puppies are the cutest little things in the world. I love them so much, regardless of what dog that is. When they're puppies, they're just so adorable. Yes, and this is what we normally see in social posts, in social medias, in posters and something like this. But you know what? Life is really different when you take care of a pet dog by yourself. In the Philippines, we love dogs, and almost every house we have dogs. We had a lot of them when we were growing up, and well, the thing was that that time we had a lot of maids, and so the maid took care of feeding the dog and picking up the poop, and we get to enjoy the good part of hugging the dog and playing with the dog. But all the dirty part, the maids do that. And so it is only now that I realize, when I get to take care of the dog myself, that it's different. It's really different. you know um, it's a lot like plants. If you want to enjoy the fruits, the labors of your fruit, you have to learn how to take care of it. You got to water it, you got to give it some kind of a fertilizer. The same way with the taking care of a dog, you have to really take care of it. And but I think that the advantage of that you get from having a pet companion far outweighs the hard work that you have to do. So I want to talk to you today about what people don't tell you about having a dog. First, I think that if you decide to get one, before you decide to get one must fully understand why he or she wanted to get a dog. Is it to enjoy? Is it to feel what people feel when they post it on social medias or videos, that they're so cute and cuddly? All that feel good stuff. Yeah. Or is it something that, look, I want to give love I want to give love out, and I want to take care of someone. I want to give it love. I want to be a part of my life, and I want to be committed to that. So these are and two the factors that we have to consider about whenever we are seriously deciding to take care of dogs. Because if not, if not, then you're gonna be up for surprise, and you're gonna get your back against the wall, and there's no turning back. There is, but it's a bit humiliating. That's humiliating. Sad and very irresponsible. And so, in my story, I know about this cuteness and cuddles that I see a whole lot, and that's just for the most part. When I saw Bentley, I had no plans of actually getting a dog. I was toying with the idea of getting one, but I wasn't really fully decided. So I went to this pet shop in near Dragon Mart, and with my sister and my brother, and we were just supposed to check out, have a look at the dogs, the little puppies, because when I called the store the day before, they told me that they had some new puppies coming in from Europe. And so I decided to I will go there in the morning and just have a look at the dogs and get to feel how it is when, like, I pet them and when I see them. All right, so so when I went there, they were in this little glass little cages, and some of them are together and others are, yeah, I think most of them are together, two in each little cages. And I saw little French bulldogs, little huskies. I think I get some huskies, little Maltese, I think Chihuahuas, and I think those little bulldogs. And then I saw there's Bentley. No, he was not named Bentley yet. And then I saw a Maltese humping a Shih Tzu. Actually, I didn't know it was a Shih Tzu. Yeah, I never knew about Shih Tzus before, because when we were growing up, we didn't have any breeded dog. They are the usual normal, dogs that you can just feed them anything. You can just feed them leftover, and they just run around the house and chase people and bite them sometimes. Okay, and then I told the guy, can I have a look at the Maltese, because I wanted to get a Maltese, a white Maltese, because I thought Maltese, they look so fluffy and cute. They go with my furniture. I like to. They're white, and so they look like a throw pillow. So even if they're sitting on my couch, whatever color, they're gonna go well with my furniture. So I wanted to get a Maltese. But I was looking it up, but the thing is with the Maltese though, my only problem with that is they get tear stains in the eyes. So from my research, I discovered and learned that they're prone to that, and so because they're white, and the tears, they tend to stain right over there, and that's the only thing. Otherwise, I'm fully convinced it matches my furniture and my sofa. Pretty silly. Okay, and then I took the Maltese, and then he took the Maltese down out from the cage, and when I held the Maltese, it just froze. It froze. It went like this. It froze. It's like, oh my God, like the Maltese froze and stiffened his body and looked at me and said, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. He's like that. Oh my God, oh my God. And so I was thinking, what's the matter with him? I was thinking, what's the matter with this dog? And then so they took it back. And then I told him, can you get the other one? The one that's being humped by these Maltese, because they're together in a cage. And he took it down, and oh my goodness, he's just so cute. When they took him down, he was like bouncy, happy. In Tagalog, pabibo, boy bibo, like this. And so he was so like bouncy, and he is just so engaging. And he was like licking my feet, and he was whenever. Wherever I'd be in that little fence padded floor, he'd be coming after me and he'd be licking my feet. He's just so happy, bouncing little stuff. And then I know I fell in love with the dog. And then I said, okay, I want to buy him. I'm wondering if that was like emotional buying. It just made me so felt good. I think I did emotional buying, and I loved him. And well, as I bought him, at the back of my mind, I was thinking, is this the right decision? Am I making the right decision buying this now? I had no plans, but because he's just so cute, I bought him. And I said, well, anyhow, that's that. I'm gonna buy him. Besides, he's so cute. He's so cute and bouncy and fluffy. And so, and then we bought him some stuff, some bowls, some food, some puppy, there's some kind of a puppy drop where you have to drop it in the puppy pad, and that's where he's gonna be peeing. And all of these things that I was buying, I wasn't knowledgeable about them. I didn't know what puppy pad to buy, but the guy in the pet shop, he was very kind enough to pick for me the stuff that I needed to buy. Okay, so how much did I bought Bentley puppy? He is a Shih Tzu that came from Czechoslovakia, and I bought him for actually he cost 7,000 dirhams. 7,000 dirhams, but he gave me a discount, and so I was able to just buy him for 6,000 dirhams as puppy. But it all totaled eventually when I left the shop around like 7,000 plus, because I had to buy some stuff for him, his food, his bowl, and all those, you know, that puppy drop, teether, his little toys. I actually spent 7,000 plus. Right. So that was the story of how I got Bentley. So what happened to me in these 3 years being with Bentley? He actually, you gotta be ready. Actually, it's a commitment. I should say it's a very, very. It takes a deep commitment to take care of a dog, and because he was a puppy at the time I bought him, he was around 3 years old. No, sorry, he was around 3 months old. But when I took him to the vet for the first time, they told me he was actually 2 months old, because they don't allow dogs to be imported less than 3 months old. And so at that time he didn't have much teeth yet. It's like a baby. And so that's what the vet told me. So financial wise, you know, I had to take him to the vet, and it's not really cheap to go to the vet for his annual vaccines and deworming, and sometimes the vet would prescribe some food, hypoallergenic, and one whole box would cost me 200, and that whole box has more or less I think more than a dozen. I'm not really sure, but close to 18, 19 pieces of cans, and that would cost me 200. And one can, it depends on, it can last from until 1.5 days. It depends on how much he eats or how much I give him. And so that's for the vet. And normally when I go to the vet, it would cost me around, just the consultation would cost me 150 dirhams. And sometimes if it's emergency, which happened to me one time, it cost, emergency consultation costs 250, because you have to get prioritized when there are other people with an appointment with the vet. Because one time he vomited one night, he ate so much, and so I had to rush him to the vet. So this is another thing. When you have a dog, it's like your daughter or your son. In this case, it's my son. He's my fur baby, and so it's like a child. You know how it is when sometimes yung anak mo nagkaroon ng fever in the middle of the night, so you gotta rush him to the doctor. So that's how it is, because many people, they tend to ignore these kinds of occurrence, and pinagpapaliban nila the following morning, and then the dog died. They can die that fast. Um, so it's not cheap to go to the vet. And then you gotta get them this municipality ID. They'll give you this small little chip, plastic chip, and he needs to get registered in the municipality, and that needs to be renewed every year. And I think they cost around 180, somewhere around that. I think 180. And oh yeah, when you go to the store and to the shop, when I got Bentley, you're like a mother, because when you go to the shop, um, I no longer frequent the clothes and shoes shops. I go to the pet shop more often. I go to the pet shop and I buy toys, dresses, right? Toys, dresses, and what have you, little bowls, lots of dog stuff. He's here. He's actually here in front of me and he's listening to me. Okay, I think he's getting used to me talking to him, so he listens. He's a very smart dog. Okay, yeah. So that's another money that you have to spend on, which I do, and again, emotional buying, emotional buying for Bentley, because you're just like a mother. When you see something, you go like, "Oh my goodness, this is gonna look so good on him." Yeah, he's a boy, and if he were a girl, he'd probably get some more of those ribbons in the hair and stuff like that, and maybe some skirts and bracelets and earrings. Some people, they do have that for their dogs, but fortunately, Bentley is a little boy. Yeah, so that's one of the things that where your money could go buying for him. Yeah, and also you gotta walk him. You have to walk your dog every day, at least, you know. He needs regular walking, because otherwise, all his pent up energy is gonna build up, and he's gonna be very annoying in the house. No, he actually poos in the grassy part of my balcony, and I pick that up at least every morning. And when I take him out, we walk around the block, and he'd also poo there. Otherwise, uh, he'd be very troublesome. He'd be trying to disturb you the whole time. Yeah, he'd chew on something, and yeah, that's how they are. And it's also very healthy for them to exercise. You gotta exercise them. Okay. Um, what else can I think about? Yeah, in terms of going out anyway, there's not much public places that you can go to. For example, here in where I live, in Dubai, they're not allowed to go to walk in the park. Pets, they're not allowed to be in the beach with you, so he can take some, at least here in my vicinity. Um, what else? They're not allowed to go anywhere. Um, Only for a very few. But they have some dog parks, but they are very, very, no, far away. You have to travel very far away to get there. And well, the good thing, they do have, however, they do have there's a lot of doggy daycares uh, in a not so far away place from where I live, and that is where I take him. And when I'm busy in the afternoon, I'm sorry, on weekends, when I want to do a lot of things and I don't want him disturbing me, and also for him to socialize with other dogs, I take him to Doggy Palace. It's one of those doggy daycare companies, and they're situated in the industrial part of Dubai. and in Alcuz, it is where they located. It is where that's located. So, how much do I pay there? I get to pay for that particular store, a shop, or a daycare. I get to pay 30 dirhams for the whole day. Whole day meaning I take him there in the morning. They open at 8 o'clock, and then they close as late as 9 o'clock. So you can get your dog. You can take your dog back before that time, before it closes naturally. So that's 30 dirhams, and he just gets to play there. I mean, like he doesn't eat or anything. He just socialize with other dogs. Now, if you want to board him, meaning he gets to sleep there that one night, you can take him in the morning, and then you can come back for him. He sleeps there, and then you come back for him the following morning, or at least until 5 or 6, before the day ends. Just for one night. And they will give him normal food. I think they have a wet and a dry food. So that, but you have the option to bring some food for his dinner, which I do. And they have this small little boarding rooms. I think it measures around, like, I'm not mistaken, 1.20 meters by 1.20 meters. Like little pig pens. Yeah, like this, like little horse stables. And one time I went to check him up that night to see how he's doing, and I realized that they just leave the dog to sleep on the pavement, and it was freezing. And when I held Bentley up, he was like freezing. He was like shivering. And then I told him, look, I didn't know that this is a situation, and so I told him, just please put some blanket underneath, because he gets cold very easily. And so the next time I had him boarded there, I had to tell him to just put his little doggy bag, so he comes inside and sleeps there, and his pillows, I also brought it for him to keep him warm, because if you don't, they will just leave the dog to lie on the floor in a freezing air temperature inside that room. Well, I do think that some dog can tolerate it, but in Bentley's case, he's very, very sensitive to the too much cold. It's like how cold? Like morgue cold. Not that I've been to the morgue, but I think it's like that. Yeah, it's cold. Okay. So that's the dog boarding. We'll talk about the money thing, where they go, and yeah. And when he was growing up, he had to go to this stage where he had to chew. He chew on the wall. He chew on the post. He's looking at me. Like, actually, he's inside looking at me, like as if he knows I'm talking about him. I need to give him a bath later. He looks like a rug, like a shag rug. Okay. Yeah, when he was growing up, he was teething. When his teeth was beginning to come out, he was chewing on my steel post in my bed. That my bed has is like this IKEA loft bed. He was chewing on those, so I had this paint, and the paint was, well, it has these polka dots, and sometimes he'd chew on, I don't think he ever chewed on mine. Oh yeah, he did chew on my slippers. So he was chewing that way when he was growing up. And yeah, you know what, when you have a dog, I don't know if it's just my Bentley or it's the same with some other people, he gets to wake you up. He wakes up very early, and he'd sometimes when he's very hungry, he will wake me up. He'd actually, when I sleep on the sofa, his face, he's actually going to be waiting for me to wake up. But when he cannot endure his hunger pangs already, he would just come up to my face and like go like this. You know, like he's crying. Yeah, but he won't bark. He won't bark. He'd put his face on my face, near my face actually, and cry. And when I open my eyes, he'd just like be jumping all over me and like, licking my face. No, he likes to lick my ear. I don't get him to lick my face. Yes, yeah. So like that, and he wouldn't when I work late at night for whatever it is that I'm doing. He would not sleep until I sleep, and wherever I be in the house, he'd be there. You know, like if I'm in the kitchen cooking, he'd be there. Um, when I'm in the living room, he'd be there at my feet. When I'm in the garden watering the plants, he'd be there. You know, he's so emotionally attached. I don't know if Shih Tzus are clingy like this or it's just Bentley. No, let me know. And you know, when I'm working, he'd take his toy and put it on my feet, and he wants to play, and so he's just being pretty cute. So I engage him. And what else? Yes. And he eats too much. I don't know if Shih Tzus are always hungry, but he eats so much. You know, these days he's eating a lot of carrots and potato. Okay. He eats a lot of carrots. No, Bentley's here. Sorry, he must have dropped his. Oh, Bentley, where did you put your stuff? Okay. He dropped his bone somewhere there. We'll get it later. Okay. Oh yeah. What does he eat? These days he's eating carrots and potatoes and some lamb meat. They come in this small little packets for dogs. And also I do have to. Oh yeah. His food, his sometimes a bit sensitive. Before I was feeding him chicken breast, the most expensive part of the chicken breast, you know, because it has the less fat to feed your dog, and at some point he got allergic to it, and so I had to take him to the vet, and the vet told me to feed him something else, and now I have to have a look at the carrots and the potatoes with the lamb, and he's itching again. He has very sensitive skin. Shih Tzus. Okay. What else? Yes. In the beginning, it was very hard for me, but I got used to it because I gotta make it work. It's not something that you have to, you know, discard when you're done with it. That's why here there's a lot of abandoned dogs and cats all around, and they're hungry, and I think that it's very sad that some people get a dog to buy them or it's given to them. Initially they liked them because they're cute, but in the end they just got tired of it and they discard them. And there's so many abandoned dogs, I tell you. There's a lot of organization here for dog adoption, and they're getting dogs adopted coming from, you know, well, abandonment is something, has different reasons. Some are just outright irresponsible and leave their dogs, but others is when they transfer to another building or another place which does not allow pets. And yeah, that's one thing. When you have a dog, you have to at least ensure that your building allows pets to live with you. And I'm just very blessed because I've been living in my studio for the last 4 or 5 years, and I'm an old tenant, and as it seems they allow the dogs to be in here. I think in my building, this is a 4-story building which is all studios, and I think there might be 3 or 4 owners in this building with dogs, and I am one of them. And so you gotta be sure if you want to get a dog, you have enough space for them to like play around, and to ensure that your building management staff or the administration allows pet to be in your building, because there's a lot of residential flats here. They don't allow them. I had a friend who lives right next to me, and I couldn't even come into the lobby because it's not allowed. So this is a very important thing to consider. And if you live in a sharing room, I don't think it's wise for you to get a dog. I know someone, and she wanted to get a dog, to get a pet, but I think she just might be living in a sharing room. Means to say that in one room you share it with one person that is not your relative, at least some of them. And in that case, the dog needs to move around at least, so it's not very good. So that's the space you also have to consider. And at least, like in my case, I have the whole studio, so Bentley can run around from the balcony to the kitchen to whatever. But even then, you still need to get to exercise them. And then what else do I have to tell you about having a dog? Yeah, he's part of my grocery. He's part of my grocery. He's part of my monthly budget. So there's a lot of money involved. And what else have I to tell you? Yeah, when you get a pet, you have to study and understand which of them fits you. I mean, I meant to say, because what I meant to say is that dogs, they are different breeds, and you have to understand that if you live in a small space, you gotta get a small dog. I mean, you can't get a big dog for your small space. If you live in a villa and you have a lot of space to run around, and then you can get a bigger dog. But for my case, I live in a studio, and so I have a little toy dog, so it just fits perfectly for me. And also, you gotta think about, dogs have different temperaments. So there are the ones who are not so active, and there are the ones who are very active, and there are those that are barking a lot. They like to bark a lot, and there are those dogs that are they're just quiet, kind of a lethargic. So this is one thing that you have to consider. You have to go research on the internet before you decide to buy which breed. But I'm very blessed to say that Bentley is not a barky dog. He's not a yappy dog, and he's, well, energy-wise, it's in the middle. Sometimes he just wanna lay down there. Sometimes he wants to walk around, go around, and he's a very smart dog. He likes to entertain himself, and I can't give him the attention when I'm very, very busy. When he entertains himself, he runs to and forth, and plays with his toy, and just like that. So he can get very independent sometimes. But on a general, he's very clingy to me. You know, he'd be wherever, even in the shower. he whines when he doesn't see me. So when I take a shower, since I live alone, I keep the door partly open for him to see me, because he'll go crazy if he doesn't see me. Yes. And when I'm in the sofa, he sleeps with me. He sleeps in the lower portion of my leg when it's curled, and so that actually it forms a bond further between me and him. And I love that kind of a feeling, and having him around in my life makes me feel like physically I have another person, because sometimes he acts like a human. I don't know. They say that Shih Tzus can act like humans. He does. He does. He listens to me like a kid, And when I had to warn him about against being so energetic and whining a lot, I'd pick up my slippers and pretend to spank him, and he'd go away. He'd hide himself underneath the sofa. He's like a kid, and yeah, like this. And then, yeah, I think that when you get a dog, there are certainly some realities that you have to face, and you got to ask yourself if you are ready to face them and to bear them and to be committed to it. And right now, I think that my only fear is time will come. I know that Bentley will grow old and he will die, and it's gonna be tough for me, because he's like my son, and I'm emotionally invested in him as much as he is invested in me. So time I know will come that I will lose him, and I dread this day. Especially that he's my actual first dog, one that I've actually taken care of myself. And so they say it's tough for people to lose their loved ones, your family, even dogs. So I get to include it in my prayer that God will just allow him to live a long life. I know there's nothing that we can do about losing our loved ones, but it will come that day. I know it's gonna come, but for the time being, I try to enjoy the moment. You know, it is the same with life. That to enjoy the moment, to not look at the inevitability of things to come, because when we do that, and I know that when I do that, to look at the day and dread the day, I'd be living in dread all my life and not enjoy him and not make good memories with him. And so while he's here, he's with me, I shower him with a lot of love, and it has really helped me a whole lot as a person. I've become more emphatic to the cause of animal abuse. Post on social media that shows animal abuse, because every time I see that, I feel like it's Bentley being abused. And so whenever I see stray cats, and I have something, I have food with me or a biscuit, especially when I go home, I try to give them, because every time I see them, I remember Bentley. I'm thinking, what if that would be Bentley? And so you get softer as a person, and you get more sensitive to how they're treated. And even babies, I think of them like, whenever I see little babies, I think of Bentley. And so, yeah, so many things you have to consider. But I say that it far outweighs having a dog. It's such fulfilling. They love unconditionally. They shower you with affection. They keep you company. They give so much value to your life. And there are difficulties and hardship, but you gotta be committed, and they will give you so much more than what is required of you to give them. So much more. And it's a great thing to come home from work when you're very tired, to be greeted, to be loved with a little bundle of joy waiting for you at home. So I hope that I have given to you a good insight on how your world will be if you decide to get a dog pet, especially if you want to take care of them by yourself, like me, when you live alone, especially because It's a bit different when you live alone and there's no one else with you to take care of your dog. I hope I gave you a very balanced comparison of the disadvantage and well, I wouldn't say the big disadvantage, but I mean the real picture of how it is. So there it is. So let's get Bentley to say hi. This is my little. This is Bentley, and it is his birthday today. And I'm gonna get him a cupcake maybe today. So there you have it, and I will see you next time when you have a birthday.